Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Naomi, and this is Conversations with Naomi. Before we begin, please note, this video is for information and storytelling purposes only. It is not legal advice or connected to any personal immigration case. Today, I want to talk about something big, proposed changes to Canada's Bill C-12, put forward by the Conservative Party. These amendments, introduced by MP Michelle Rempel-Garner and others, could significantly alter how Canada handles asylum, border security, and immigration enforcement. These aren't small tweaks. Conservative MPs are calling for major structural reform, arguing that the current system is under serious strain. So, what are these proposed amendments? Why do they matter, especially for people navigating Canada's immigration system? Let's break it down. Before we continue, let's watch the press briefing by Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner, also a member of the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration.
Conservatives will attempt to amend Bill C-12 to undertake the following system changes: removing the ability of migrants with failed asylum claimants to claim any federal social benefits beyond emergency health care, disallowing asylum claims to be made by nationals of or by those arriving in Canada having transited through a G7 or an EU country, modernizing and strengthening screening requirements, requiring educational institutions to accept foreign students to share the cost of any bogus asylum claims made by foreign students they welcome to Canada, requiring that claims made by migrants who return to their home country while their claim is pending be abandoned, rejecting claims after a claimant is found to have lied to an officer, placing the onus on a claimant to prove that they made their claim in the timely manner, not on the government, requiring asylum claimants arriving in Canada to immediately provide, on the record, their full grounds for seeking protection, preventing later use of unscrupulous lawyers to game the system, as we've seen many reports of, modernizing the appeals and judicial review processes associated with the asylum system, creating a new, transparent and clear reporting requirement for the government to disclose the amount of federal benefits received by asylum claimants, modernizing the content of the annual report to Parliament, and modernizing the IRB appointment process to better consider the province's merit-based candidates and reduce the politicization of the review system. On the second objective, strengthening Canada's border security. Bill C-12 purports to strengthen Canada's border security, but it leaves gaping holes open for non-citizens convicted of an indictable offence in Canada, such as sexual assault, to avoid deportation penalties. It does little to prevent human trafficking or modernize the removal process for those who have been determined to have no legal reason to be in Canada. Loopholes in the outdated Immigration and Refugee Protection Act allow non-citizens convicted of serious crimes like sexual assault to avoid deportation if they are sentenced to 6 months less a day or less. And so, over the last year, Canada has seen case after case after case where the justice system provides leniency to non-citizens convicted of serious crime like sexual assault in order to prevent their deportation. And it's worth noting that these are not leniencies given to Canadian citizens. For a non-citizen, our laws and practices state that staying in Canada is a privilege, not a right. Most non-citizens understand this concept overwhelmingly and play by the rules. That said, being convicted of a serious crime should be a minimum standard that Canadian law enforces when it comes to deciding whether or not a non-citizen should be allowed to stay in the country. Non-citizens who are convicted of an indictable offence like sexual assault in Canada should face deportation, period. But even facing deportation may not be enough. To be effective, those deportations need to be carried out in an expeditious manner. Recent reports show that the Liberals have lost track of nearly 600 convicted criminals scheduled for deportation. To fix these issues, Conservatives will attempt to constructively amend Bill C-12 and make the following changes to strengthen our borders. Clarify the definition of serious criminality under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act to be conviction by an indictable offence or hybrid offence where the Crown proceeded with an indictable charge. Prevent non-citizens ordered removed from blocking deportation by barring repeat pre-removal risk assessments unless substantive new evidence of changed circumstances is presented. modernizing the time period and process related to the enforcement of removal orders. All of our amendments are designed to be common sense, rooted in needs exposed by recent news reports, and designed to be supportable by all political parties, including the Liberals. But most importantly, they are designed to restore order, fairness, and compassion, and public confidence in Canada's immigration system. Thank you.
Proposing a sweeping set of proposed amendments to Canada's border security and immigration legislation, Bill C-12. One of the main arguments from Rempel and her team is that Canada's system is overwhelmed, skyrocketing asylum claims, long processing backlogs, and rising pressure on health, housing, and social services. She argues that public trust in the immigration system is declining. Many feel the system is too soft or inefficient. The Conservatives propose tougher rules around who can make asylum claims, how they are processed, and when people can be removed. Here are some of the big changes they want to introduce. Stricter screening and verification for new asylum claims. Preventing claims from people who have passed through certain G7 countries. Requiring claimants to make full protection claims at the very start. More oversight on fraudulent or unfounded claims. Restructuring judicial reviews and appeals to make them faster and less duplicative. More transparency. The Conservatives want regular public reporting on asylum outcomes, IRB activity, and federal immigration spending. Change how board members are appointed to make the IRB more efficient and accountable. Bring in performance benchmarks and possibly people with investigative or security experience. Raise the bar on serious criminality, redefine offenses that make someone removable. Give more power to cancel or modify immigration documents when in the public interest. Strengthen enforcement capacity so that removal orders are acted on more consistently. More rigorous identity checks for asylum claimants. Expand verification procedures and tighten data sharing between IRCC, security agencies, and other governments. But these proposed amendments are very controversial, and with good reason. Not everyone supports what the Conservatives are suggesting, and immigration advocates have raised serious red flags. Critics argue these powers are too broad. According to civil liberties groups like the CCLA, Bill C-12 could allow the government to cancel immigration documents without basic procedural protections. Human rights organizations are especially alarmed. Amnesty International warns that limiting asylum access, especially for people who don't file their claims quickly, could put lives at risk. There are concerns about transparency. The proposed power to cancel or suspend documents may not come with enough checks and balances, like notifying those affected or providing meaningful review. Some legal experts worry about how these changes could affect people applying through business immigration programs. There's a risk that the government could cancel pending applications for non-business streams, a serious concern for small business founders. If these amendments pass, here's what could personally change for people navigating Canada's immigration system. The rules for claiming refugee status could tighten, meaning some existing or future claimants may lose access to fair hearings. The government could suspend or cancel visas, permits, or even permanent residency under certain public interest conditions. With new authority to modify or revoke applications, many immigrants may feel uncertainty about staying in Canada. Reforms at the Immigration and Refugee Board could speed up some decisions, but they could also lead to less lengthy, detailed reviews if the board's capacity or makeup changes. Entrepreneurs applying through visa programs could face greater risk if pending applications are targeted or canceled. This isn't just policy, it's a political battle. The Conservatives are framing their amendments as constructive reform, not hostility toward immigrants. They believe stricter rules will restore confidence in Canada's immigration system. If passed, these amendments could significantly shift how Canada handles asylum, enforcement, and immigration overall, with major implications for public safety and immigrant rights. This is a test. How seriously will Canada balance border security with its values of openness and protection? If you're an immigrant, newcomer, or someone who cares about Canada's immigration future, stay informed, follow updates on Bill C-12 closely. Reach out, connect with advocacy groups or legal experts if you're directly affected. Engage politically, write to your MP, or participate in public consultations. Prepare. If you have pending applications, understand how this might affect your status and plan for possible policy changes. If this video raised concerns or questions for you, please drop a comment below with what you think. Are these conservative amendments fair and necessary? Or do they go too far, risking immigrant rights? Also, like, share, and subscribe if you want more updates on Canadian immigration policy. I'll continue bringing you real, practical breakdowns of what's happening and what it means for people just like us. And if this video touched you, you can support my work through Buy Me a Coffee. Every little bit helps me keep creating these important conversations. Hot beverage. Thank you for being part of this community. Real people, real stories, real conversations. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Yellow heart, bye for now.